Right, there we go. Morning, everybody. Welcome to seminar 6 of our 7-seminar series. This one is Valuation Reports, Unlocking Their Secrets and Understanding How Much Information They Actually do give you. I'm joined by various colleagues from the Share Foundation this morning. So I'll go through them. If you can introduce yourselves, please. Start with you, Des. You're first on my screen.
Morning, everybody. I'm Des Blackman. I'm an administrator. I look after London and the South East.
Thank you. Dagmar?
Good morning, everyone. I'm the local authority liaison manager and I help where I can.
Thank you. Deborah?
Morning, I'm Deborah Mason. So I look after Scotland, Yorkshire and the east of England.
Brilliant, thank you. And Sue, go on, we'll let you introduce yourself as well.
Hello everybody, I'm Sue Parsons. I'm the assistant to the Director of Operations and help Anthony with the day-to-day running of the Share Foundation.
Fantastic, thank you all very much. Deborah, would you like to start sharing the presentation for everybody? Right, lovely, thank you very much. We were also due to be joined by our colleague Sue Jones, who unfortunately is down with the dreaded COVID. So we have drafted Sue Parsons in her place. So that completes our complement. Right, a little bit of housekeeping about Zoom meetings. We're aiming to keep this to 1 hour seminar with an opportunity for questions at the end. You can also ask questions as we go through. That is not a problem. The microphone icon, bottom left-hand corner, if you would kindly mute yourselves during the presentations, that cuts out on the background noise. If I'm talking and you hear barking, I apologize. My 2 Labradors will have woken up. So that's your microphone. As you found out, you can turn the video on and off if you wish. That's not a problem at all for us. If you want to ask a question, you can type into the chat and you can direct it to everybody if you wish. And at an appropriate time during the presentations, we'll stop and we'll answer those questions as well. Alternatively, you can raise your metaphorical hand to raise a question. Under the reactions button, you have a raise your hand icon. If you do that, it brings you to the top of the list that I can see. So I know somebody's wanting to ask a question. If you try to raise your hand like that, unfortunately, I can only see 6 out of 17 participants. So chances are I won't be able to get to see that. So please use the raise hand icon. There is a leave button, end button, but hopefully you won't need that before the end of the seminar. And sharing the screen, Deborah is getting very adept at sharing screen for us. So she will be moving us on as we go through. So, okay, so that's housekeeping out of the way. Move on to the topics that we're going to be covering this morning. Those of you who attended seminar 1 will have heard a little bit of this before. So who are the Share Foundation? We'll also cover the types of savings accounts that are available for young people. Then we'll have the introduction to the valuation report, report headings, and the sections within the report as well. What do they all mean? What actions can be taken by local authorities on the information contained in the valuation report? And then we'll also talk a little bit about unclaimed accounts. So what can be done when the accounts remain unclaimed? And we'll also cover what we can do to assist if a young person who wants to claim an account or is due to receive a check in lieu of an account, if they have no ID or inappropriate ID or no bank account, what can be done to help them? And then we will move on to the questions part at the end. Okay. So brief recap on the Share Foundation. We are a registered charity. We have been operating since 2005. And when we were set up to originally make donations into child trust funds for looked after children within the area surrounding Buckinghamshire, which is where Gavin Alden, who set the charity up, is based. Then in 2012, we were awarded the first government contract to set up and administer junior ISAs for looked after children. Francis, you seem to be having trouble with your sound. Is everybody else okay, or is it me? I apologise. I'm on a narrowboat, so we're working off the cell network here. So I'll get through. Claire's okay. I'll get all right. So I'll soldier on, and then I can pass over to my land-based colleagues. 2012, we got the first contract to administer junior ISAs. Then in 2017. That was widened to also cover child trust funds with no one in a position of parental responsibility. So it became a one-stop shop, if you like, for local authorities when reporting young people for savings purposes. Good news is our contract has been renewed for a further 4 years from next month. So I'm afraid you're stuck with us for the foreseeable future. The other good news is that all of our costs are covered by the government contract or by a philanthropist. So anything that we do, any monies that we raise, any donations we receive, there is no deduction from donations, and all of the costs relating to the scheme are covered. So no charge to local authorities or account holders. Okay, my last slide, junior ISAs and child trust funds, both are long-term savings accounts set up by the government and were or are available to all children under 18 in the UK. I say were because Child Trust Fund scheme closed for new accounts on 2nd of Jan 2011 when junior ISAs took over. Just as an aside, the National Audit Office this week published a report into the Child Trust Fund scheme. It makes interesting reading, so if anybody does want to have some bedtime reading, look it up on Google and see what you think. The important things about the accounts, anyone can contribute to an account, and we can only manage child trust fund accounts where the local authority or health trust confirms there is no one in a position of parental responsibility, or if there is, that person they do not consider suitable for managing a savings account which may have £1,500 or £2,000 in it. So that's something which is covered in another one of our seminars. So, you've got to get in quick because spaces are getting limited. That's my part done. I will now pass over to one of my colleagues who's going to unmute themselves, so I know who it is. Des, thank you. And I will pass you over and join you all later on. So over to you, Des. Thank you.
Hi everyone. Right, introduction to the valuation report. Each quarter, the Share Foundation will send over a valuation report to our main contact, and that will be myself, Deborah or Sue Jones. We send that over for you to take a look at. We'll explain how to interpret the report and highlight what each section means and what needs to be done with the information provided. The purpose of the report is to assist the local authority or health trusts in ensuring every young person is aware of the account and they take responsibility of the account at the appropriate time. It's imperative that local authorities provide information to care leavers on how to access a savings account, particularly for those leaving care at 18. If this is not done, it can result in the account becoming dormant and the whole benefit of becoming lost to the young adult concerned. Next slide, Deborah, thank you. Right, the report headings. So we have, as you can see, the TSF reference number, a local authority reference number, the eligibility date, count, previous valuation, new money from nation, new money from government, new money from the local authority, new money from other, and the current valuation. You, Deb?
Yeah. Right, okay, so some, if not all of you, may have seen the quarterly valuation that comes across to your local authority. That was an example of the header. We'll just break down the headings a little bit more in detail so that you're more aware. So the TSF reference, this is our unique reference number for the Share Foundation. Your local authority reference number, although unique to you, may not be unique nationally. So we may have other local authorities that have the same LA reference. So we assign our own. So that's the TSF. If you have a TSF reference, please use it when you send queries over to us. But equally, we can find your record from yours. Okay, so the LA reference, as I said, that's your local authority number. It will be aligned with the TSF number on that report. So when you search for one, you'll be able to find the other. The eligibility date column. So this is the date that the young person first met the criteria for a junior ISA or was notified to us. If there's no date in that column, it's likely to be a child trust fund. So just to be aware that you can identify the difference from that column. Okay. The count. So that's not used, so don't worry too much about that one. And also previous valuation, that one will remain as a 0, so don't worry too much about that one. New money from nation. If we've received any additional funds from a major government, so that would be Northern Ireland, England, Scotland or Welsh government, then they would be shown in that column for that child. New money from government, that column will show the funds received from the initial setting up of the account. So for the junior ISA, that will show a value of £200. And then as the notes for trust fund accounts, that value in that column could vary or it may be blank, depending on the information that we were passed when we took over that account. New money from the local authority. Excuse me. Okay, so that would be money that we have received as additional donations into that young person's account from the local authority. A number of local authorities are now sending over kind of batch donations for their young people, and they would be reflected in that column. New money from other, this would be monies into the account from third parties such as foster carers, foster agencies, anyone doing individual contributions for that individual young person, that would be reflected in that column. And then the final column shows the current valuation that we have. As Des said, we send the valuation over on a quarterly basis. The last one you had would have been at the end of January, and the next one will be due at the end of April. For a junior ISA account, this balance is updated on a quarterly basis, as our junior ISA providers do give us an updated balance at that time. Child trust funds accounts are slightly different in that we are given an annual statement as a general rule on or around the child's birth date. So it is worth bearing in mind that the valuation for a child trust fund could be up to 11 months old, as seen on the valuation report. If you wanted to get in contact with us over specific ones, we could tell you if there had been any additional payments into that account since that time, but just to be aware, the trust fund is generally updated around the birth date. And of course, depending on when the donation is processed and paid into that young person's account, it may not appear on that month's valuation. It very much depends on the timing. As I say, the next valuation is due in April. So donations that are processed in April may not appear on that valuation. Does anyone have any questions about the headings at all? No? Okay. Des, do you want to carry on?
Yeah, to aid reviewing the information in the report, this is split into 10 sections. So we have our adopted, stroke special guardianship, retained majority, in care, died or deceased, independent living, left country, not in care, other, return to parents, and terminally ill. These sections will be repeated at the foot of the report for any young people whose accounts have been closed and they have left the scheme. All sections of the report except the in-care section hold information for young people's accounts where the young person has left care for the reason stated. Where an account record in any other section than in-care has a valuation figure, which is not 0, it means the young person has left care and neither they or their responsible adult have acted to access the account or transfer the account into their own name. Any questions on that part, anybody? Okay, back to you, Deborah.
Right, okay, so upon receipt of your valuation report, despite giving you the balance, what it does is kind of prompt you to have a look and see accounts that have or have not been claimed. So in a section which shows as a left care status, so your adopted sections, your not in care sections, if there is a balance showing, that means that the responsible adult or the young person, if they're over 16, hasn't taken control of their account. So for the adopted sections, not in care, at the point that you reported your young person as being no longer in care on your data, we would have sent you over a status change letter. That may or may not have been forwarded on to the responsible adult, but to whatever end, they haven't actioned it and they haven't taken control of the account. If you've still got active balances in those sections, we would encourage you to resend the status change letter across to the responsible adult so that they can take control of the account. In the case of them being over 16, they can be passed the links to My JISA and My CTF. Okay, so with regards to the status change letter, that will have on the back of it a change of registered contact form. So the responsible adult completes that form and then sends it off to the account provider. They then take control of that account on behalf of the young person. At that point, if it's a junior ISA, the balance would then show a 0 on the valuation and it would drop down to the 0 section. If you don't have copies of the status change letters, we can reissue them, but we would just like to make you aware that we can't do giant batches. So if you send over kind of a list of 100, we would have to send them back to you about 10 or 12 at a time, just because it's a bit more of a manual process. So that's generally the status change letters. As I say, we're happy to send you ones if you have any missing, but they have been emailed over. So, you know, if we would ask you to have a look for it first before you send it through. Why isn't this working? Sorry. Ah, there we go. Dagmar, I think you were covering the overs.
Good morning, everyone. This is just a brief information regarding the over 16s. If an account beneficiary is over the age of 16, they should be encouraged to connect to their account with the financial provider. And we've got links available on the website. So we've got the My JISA. Anyone born before the CTF years, they can go on there and put their details in, and once it's submitted, it will come onto our database. And if we've got a match, we'll get a letter out to them, which includes the account provider's name, the account reference number, and also a contact telephone number. So we aim to get that out to them as soon as possible. The MyCTF, anyone born in the UK between the Child Trust Funds years, they can go on to that link and complete the form. So I say that will come onto the database, and if we've got a match, we'll get the information out to them and they can then take over the account. But if they're under 18, they won't be able to claim the account until they're 18. If we get some data through where there are slight spelling mistakes. We'll look at them on a one-to-one basis and just email the young person to confirm their date of birth, the correct spelling of their names. And we do encourage the social workers to tell the young person that they must use their own email address because the information will go to them. If you need to know more information regarding this, there are additional seminars what you can sign up to, and we can go into further detail regarding these accounts. The unclaimed accounts, this is the 16 to 17.5 letters. They'll be sent to the local authorities to pass on to the young person. We've also got the bilateral agreements, which I've sent out to the local authorities. If you haven't received it, please let me know and I can resend it for you. This is where I will send once I've got the bilateral back, I will send some data across for the unclaimed accounts where you can then send it back to me, providing their last known contact details. The search report, this is a report which will show all the young persons that have gone onto these links to see whether they've been completed, they've started, or they haven't started, and you can have this sent to you as well on request, so you've got an idea of what's going on with the unclaimed accounts. And that's it. Oh, LA Guide to the Valuation Report, that's available on request as well. But if you've got any questions, just drop me an email and I'll answer it for you. And that's it. So the next person
Thank
is...
you. My turn again.
Yep.
If we've got no bank account or no ID for a young person who's claiming their account, then if it's a junior ISA, it's no problem. We have an arrangement with junior ISA providers where if they cannot provide the appropriate identification for the junior ISA provider, then the funds can be paid to local authorities or health trusts for them to pass to the young people. Normally within that, you have a month in which to receive the funds into your own bank account and pay them out to the young person. Similarly, if they have no bank account, then funds again can be paid to the local authority health trust for them to pass to the young person. And the third scenario is where if a young person's over 17 years, 10 months old, when we're due to open an account, then we normally send a check. If we send that check out, it comes out via the local authority. And again, if the young person has no bank account, it's, for example, an unaccompanied asylum seeker, we can pay the funds direct again to the local authority for you to pass on to the young person. Okay, any questions about that bit? Okay, the stipulations surrounding that part are that there are forms required to be signed by both the beneficiary and the local authority in order for us to proceed. So we need the beneficiary to say, yes, I want you to pay the money to the local authority, and the local authority to say, yes, we're happy to process this money through to the beneficiary. And once we do send the money to the local authority, we must receive confirmation within 1 month from the beneficiary that they have received the monies. Otherwise, it's incumbent upon the local authority to return the funds back to us or to the JISA provider. Okay, any questions on that? I'm sure there will be in due course, but as Dagmar said, we do have a guide to valuation reports, and this information is included within that guide as well. Okay, so question time now. I'll split you into 2 groups, I think, for an opportunity to ask questions. My colleagues will come and join you in due course in the different rooms. So bear with me. You will be either asked to go into a particular room, or it will take you there if you don't click on the button, I think it is. So while I'm doing this, just bear with me for 2 ticks, and we'll see you all again in a few minutes. Right.
Yeah.
Dagmar, I think we said room 1, and Des, Deborah, room 2. Sue, take your pick.
If I start getting my bogged down in basic work, then it's going to take your mind to it because they're spending their time doing that. But foundation, I'm quite happy with the few that we do. I'll go back to them on that basis then. I'm going to email them because I've only got an hour left this morning, so trying to clear what I can.
Final total, whether or not that's definitive, and it was a good explanation about the child trust funds and the end of the end of the year being their birthday as opposed to the financial year. So that helped. Thank you.
It doesn't always help because they don't. The CTF providers don't let us know as well when they've claimed the account, so we don't know. Whereas the junior ISA providers, they do, which is a great help.
Yeah.
Which is great. I would say to everybody, if you don't, although we send the valuations out quarterly, you can just let us know. We can send them out on an ad hoc request as well. I've got quite a few local authorities who ask for them monthly. So yeah, that's not a problem. So if you ever need me to run a new one, and a more up-to-date one, we can do that. It's no problem at all.
I've just had to come in to join Des because my computer's crashed. So I may have a frozen picture.
So have you've been doing a big push for getting these young people to find their accounts, or because we have been our end?
Oh, sorry, Des, are you talking about us?
Copy of the letter, it would be helpful.
Golly, it suddenly went quiet when I joined the room there. My apologies. I'll still keep quiet.
Yeah, so I don't know how many of you guys actually, I think a lot of you are main contacts actually, so you would get the valuation report. Do you actually find it helpful, or is it just something that rocks up every quarter that you have a look at and then don't really need to use?
I think I'm from South Ayrshire. From us, it just appeared. What the hell is that? What have I to do with it? But I'm now, through annoying you more and more with questions, getting the gist of it. I understand now what you're wanting us to do. But I think the problem for us was our list of people who were looked after and had particular child trust funds didn't match your valuation report. So I think I'm kind of getting now that it might never. And I think I was trying to make it match, which was never going to happen because it just didn't agree.
Yeah, so the problem that you have with a child trust fund age young person is that we may not be managing the account. It very much depends on whether you tell us there's somebody with parental responsibility. If there is, then we can't have anything to do with that account because there is somebody already externally managing it.
Wow.
And then obviously I've got the numbers of those who have 18 and past and over, and there's loads.
I mean, well, if there's anything else we can help you with to help push this, please just have you received the bilateral agreement?
Yeah, we've got the bilateral agreement, and that's gone through our information governance, and that seems to be okay.
Right.
So I'm just
oh, that's
waiting
good.
now for my manager to come back to say that she's
Sorry.
happy with it, to put her signature
Brilliant.
on and then send back.
Do you want to just say what you
Yeah,
would
well,
do?
once I've got that back, Nicola, I can then send you the data, which, as I said, will show the TSF reference and the local authority reference. And then if you just fill that in with the last known contact details of address, telephone number, email address, I can do bulk mailings. And if there's any that we can't find, then we forward them on to the tracing group, which is completely free of charge to the local authorities.
No, that's going to be my biggest issue, is getting that information from, you know,
right.
because I don't hold, I haven't got their contact details, so I'm going to be relying again
on the social worker.
and like and we're really, I don't know what the other areas
Up against it.
We're under pressure, and
if you've got those cases, if I could just have the name and the date of birth,
right.
And the local authority reference number, then maybe they can go straight to the tracing group, and a national insurance number if you've got that as well. If you could add that to the list, then we can maybe work around it and get that to the tracing group.
Okay, well, I'll send it out once we get the bilateral sent off, Dagmar.
Okay.
I'll send it to the teams and I'll give them a time frame.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And if not, I'll get what I can myself and then I'll forward it on. But
yeah.
We'll get there.
For some people.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's a lot. But we've got, was it the oldest children now? Young people, 26,
27.
I
think I've got a few of them.
I had one on the phone yesterday afternoon. I think he was from Scotland. I can't remember what.
He was 27, wasn't he?
Yeah, 26 or 27. He'd only just been told his as well. So he literally done his online search. So yeah, that was good. So yeah.
I'm even using going through the, your validation report, linking it up to the name of the person, and even sending out the column note with the value, the current value, to see if that'll encourage.
Yeah.
But,
so it's not every day you get told you've got some money, is it? So
no. Like I say, it's
if I do this mailing, Nicola, you may have a influx of calls, because it's going to be the main contact's name on the letter. I'll send you the copy of the letter that goes out to the young person. You may get some calls saying, I've had this letter from the Share Foundation. Is it real? Is it a scam? That sort of thing. So once I send
and if no one's taken over management of that account, then obviously no one else is paying in any additional donations. So it kind of just becomes a little bit of a dead account for that period until the responsible adult does take it over.
The other risk, I think, is as well, if that parent now, adoptive parent, or if they return to brother, etc., don't know about the account, then they could be opening up a junior ISA when there's a child trust fund there, and legally you can only have one or the other.
Yeah.
It's probably quite important to try and get those status change letters out there and make sure they're actioned, but that might be an internal process and an internal discussion you'll need to have, Jane.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think you're the only local authority. There's quite a number of local authorities that as soon as it comes up as adopted, the whole record gets locked and is restricted to a number of people that would normally have had access to it. But yeah, as Sue says, that's probably something that you would need to discuss on area.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, does anyone else have anything?
As it's all gone a bit quiet, what I'll do is I'll go and bring everybody back to the main meeting, and then we can carry on questions at that point for as long as necessary. All right, so I'll leave you for now, and I'll see you in a minute. I think we're two missing now, and they've got 20 seconds before all the rooms close. There we go. I think we're all back now. Okay, close that down. Hopefully everybody found that useful for the question session. Other than to say thank you very much indeed for attending and for listening to the seminar. If you feel there are any others that you want to join, please have a look on the website, see if there are any places left. But myself and my colleagues are more than happy to stay on the meeting as long as necessary while you continue to ask any further questions. So if you want to go make yourself a cup of coffee before you tell them you finish your year meeting in the office, then please do. Those of you who want to ask any questions, please stick with us, unmute yourselves and go for it. We will be here until everybody has left. All right. But thanks very much indeed. Nice of you to attend. Thank you very much indeed. And look forward to speaking to some of you further in due course.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I found this really, really interesting.
Thank you.
Because I never knew anything about the Share Foundation. So I do for Western Bartonshire Council coordinate the mentoring service. So to be able to link in with a lot of young people that have left care that maybe not even know about this will be invaluable. And even to speak to some of the social workers as well to say, make sure that your young people get their money that they're due.
Absolutely.
So thanks very much.
It is their money and they are entitled to it.
Yeah.
The best estimate at the moment is that there's about £1 billion in child trust funds that has yet to be claimed, which is absolutely bonkers. The National Audit Office have produced their factual report, and the Commons Select Committee, Public Accounts Committee, are holding an inquiry into it all. So fingers crossed, there will more be done to help join the general population to their child trust funds. But there we go.
Absolutely.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Thank you very much. Thank
you. Nice to see you, Francis. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.